Welcome to Basically Sci-Fi, the short storytelling podcast where we tell stories you can basically call sci-fi. I'm Jared.
I'm Todd.
And I'm Adam.
And today we have a story from me about the same shit I always write stories about. You know.
Wow, you said the S word way too early into the recording. We're gonna get demonetized.
We were monetized?
Have to be monetized to get demonetized.
Okay, well then who gives a fuck?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Shit. This...
Yeah.
Well, let's have an iconically uplifting story.
Well, so who's gonna read story today?
That's you. That's
Oh,
you
well,
with your...
Yeah, he said iconically uplifting. I don't know. This is kind of a middling episode. Just I guess it does introduce some stuff, but yeah.
You had me at middling.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Anyways.
Yeah.
So the title of my episode this week is called Gene Therapy, because it has nothing to do with the implication of that.
No, it's all about attaining comfort through denim.
Sure.
She's sleeping in denim.
Brungo woke up on the floor. As she began to put together her surroundings and tried to ignore the pounding in the back of her head, she became aware of the eyes looking down on her. "Stop staring like some kind of pervert, Randall. How long was I out? And where are we?" she barked. "Who is Randall? And why would you come here, seeking absolution for your people, with a pervert?" a voice asked from across the room. Brungo looked up, confused, seeing in the other corner a surprisingly tall figure looking back at her. It stood with a bit of a hunch in its back, but was still at least 12 feet tall. It just looked down on her, waiting for a reply. She knew it seemed familiar, but had no memory for faces and species. "You remind me of someone I used to know. You know that?" Brunga said, distracted by his appearance enough to reiterate the idea, and entirely forgot the question it had asked her. "Is that so? Perhaps you've met my brother. We are twins, though I haven't seen him in many millennia. That does seem unlikely, however. Your people can't have developed enough for space travel," the figure said. "Except that we have. We arrived here having fled the death of another world. We were hoping to get this beacon shut down so the dead won't be so bothersome." "Well, that depends. On what? Why did you come here with a pervert?" "Oh, Randall isn't actually a pervert, as far as I know. Also, technically, it was you I was calling a pervert for staring at me while I was out. And now for my questions. How long was I out? Where is Randall? And who are you?" Brunga asked, trying not to lose her patience with the situation. "I see. Well, I'm Gene, caretaker of this place. Your pervert friend you arrived with has been absorbed into this facility's power systems."
No, that's bad, right?
I guess
Oh, but he was also dead, wasn't he?
so. Yeah, it helps keep it running. Lastly, you were unconscious for about 5 minutes. It happens. Something about passing through a dimensional portal messes with the brain, you know, Jean said, all rather matter-of-factly. Frunga looked around the space while she tried to process this. For a control room, there didn't seem to be many controls. She always liked to add some extra flashing buttons to her own control panels to look more impressive. And so, when people asked what they were for, she could tell them not to worry about it, with a grin that always made them worry about it. She figured if it came down to it, she could probably sabotage the system, now that she had seen the inner workings. But first, she would try to do things right. "So, can you shut it down for us?" "Well, first I need to verify your story." "And how do you plan on doing that?" Frunga asked. "Well, you must have arrived here on a ship. Just tell me where it is in orbit." "Yeah, that ship left. It isn't in orbit anymore." Jean let out a long, drawn-out sigh and considered the possibilities. Frunga had some more questions, though. "Are you really one of the makers I was told about?" "Yeah, you don't sound like you intend to believe me, though, Jean said. Well, the dimension I come from has our own myths about first galactic travelers, and all of them have been disproven. I tend to not take tall tales at face value. So while we are proving ourselves, why don't you give me some evidence to support your claims? Well, I am inside a Maker's Beacon, Jean put it bluntly. So am I. Fair enough. How do you suggest I prove myself? They both stood there thinking for a minute, not knowing how they expected the other to prove themselves. That was when Ted stepped through the wall. She took in the scene for a second before asking, Well, what's the holdup, Frunga? How did you get in here? Frunga asked. And why didn't she lose consciousness? She put to Jean. What? I'm fine, Ted said, confused. Well, yes. Sometimes people with stronger wills pass through unscathed, Jean said nervously.
No. Okay. Are they all ghosts? Are they all ghosts?
Not that I know of.
Okay, yeah, I was so convinced that Ted was a ghost too. That's how she got in, but okay, Jean just set me straight.
That can't be it. I have the weakest will of anyone you ever met, Ted said with a surprising amount of pride in her voice.
And now she's gone and undone my theory.
Yep. Oh? Huh? Well, truth be told, I was just guessing. I passed out when I went through, and I've never seen anyone else go through it until today. How did you get in anyways? This guy here said Randall got absorbed into the beacon. No, he never passed through. He's been out there whining about not getting to come in. We decided to try again to check on you, since it had been so long, Ted said. What the shit, dude? Did you tell me anything that was the truth? Frunga glared at Jean. Well, yes and no. I am one of the helpers, and I do have a brother. The rest was all bullshit. I've been here for millions of years, with no visitors, except the occasional call to check in from the homeworld. My assignment is almost up, though, and I'm a little worried that shutting the beacon down will jeopardize that in some way. I need to make a call. Jean slouched off to another room. You want to ditch this place? Ted asked Frunga. I am kind of interested to see what Jean has to say. Anyways, we need to shut this beacon down. Help me read the writing on this console. Ted spent the next couple of minutes looking the console over. It was fairly straightforward. It seemed to be locked out. Frunga stood looking over her shoulder, watching and gently tapping her fingers to the rhythm of a song she was trying to remember the words to, as a distraction from the growing unreasonable impatience. Finally, Ted turned around to her and said, We need Jean's biometric scan to do anything. The controls only answer to a maker. Well, shit, Frunga said, annoyed at not having assumed basic security measures like this would be in place. Meanwhile, Jean was in the other room. He sat at his computer station and dialed out to his boss. Daffel had been his primary contact the entire time he had been stationed here, and he trusted her to help guide him through this. He waited for a reply and wondered to himself why he had mentioned his brother at all to the people in the other room. Jean hadn't heard a word from his brother. Jean hadn't heard a word from his sibling in almost 4,000 years. The last time they spoke, his brother was still living in exile. They had never approved of what his brother had referred to as the Helper's interference in the development of the galaxy, particularly not with beacons like these. Jean had taken something of a more proactive approach, though, by trying to help here, with hopefully freeing a planet of one of these beacons. Many years had worn down his resolve. These visitors seemed like a way to help. Daffel finally answered. Well, look who it is. And a full year early. Trying to get me to let you off early, eh? Daffel said, only half joking. Most of her contacts working at beacon stations wanted out early, come the end of their tenures. Oh, hi. Sorry, I was distracted. Well, you see, some folks have come to the beacon, asking me to shut it down. Before he could get any further, Daffel interrupted him. Well, that's a shock. Planet 8562 has never produced a civilization capable of thinking past the end of their own swords. What's the difference about this one? They aren't from this planet. They fled here to escape the destruction of their homeworld. Well, why ask you to turn off the beacon? and not just try to find some other world? Dapple asked. They say some of their population took the ship they arrived on and left them here, Jean replied. Well, I hardly see how that is any of our problem. Tell them to build a new one, she said with no small amount of malice. Couldn't we just shut it down for them? Jean decided to risk asking. I don't know. We've never tried transplanting respectable people onto one of these worlds. Why don't you go with them and have a look at their civilization? Then come back. Let me know what the risks might be as far as them absorbing the evils of Planet 8562. Daffel didn't wait for a reply. She just signed off. Jean went back into the control room, where Frunga and Ted were trying their best to look like they hadn't been fiddling with the controls, largely unsuccessfully. As you can see, it will only work for me. Did you at least learn something from it? He asked them. Well, we learned you really don't have any faith in the evolution of this planet, Ted said. And this control room does seem to be in an alternate dimension, Frunga added. I already told you that one, Jean said, surprised they didn't just lie, giving him one mark in the positive for them. I've been instructed to go with you and judge your civilization for myself. Fine then. Let's get on with it, Frunga said. First, I think you should know we have these robots.
They already know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They helped us get here, and they seem entirely unaffected by the beacons, but you should know they are abrasive. Ted wanted to be sure the butlers didn't take him by too much of a surprise. I see. I will keep that in mind, Jean said, understanding that AI can be finicky. I don't think you see quite yet, actually, but you will, Frunga said, suddenly worried. The three exited the obelisk. Glorda and Randall seemed deep in conversation. Randall, however, was immediately wrenched from this personal talk at the sight of Jean. He knew exactly who Jean reminded him of immediately. Do you know a guy called Roger? You look just like him, he blurted out before considering that Roger was from Alabith. Well, yes, my brother's name is Roger, but I haven't seen him in a long while. He abandoned our people on principle a while back now. How, may I ask, do you know him? Roger helped us complete the ark we used to get here, disposal facility in our sister planet, and provided materials and scientists to get us off the ground, so to speak, Glorda said in reply. Jean thought this odd, but chalked it up to coincidence. Still, if Roger trusted them, that was another plus in his book. Roger had always been a better judge of character than he was himself. Where should we start, then, with the judgment of your people? Jean asked. Probably with our governmental structure, Glorda said, given that we have 4 members of our ruling council with us, though we will need to head back to Frunga's workshop to get the other 2, if you'll follow me. Jean went behind the visitors, excited and anxious about all of the people he was about to meet. It would be a nice change of pace after his years of solitude. That, or it would be fucking terrifying. He hadn't made up his mind yet.
Relatable.
The Fibulins were quiet on their way back to Frunga's workshop, each with their own plans. Glorda working on pitches, Frunga considering Roger, Randall wondering what would become of him in all this, and Ted hoping they wouldn't walk in on Brondo and Blinkus doing anything too unsavory all on their own. To be continued.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I felt pretty early on that was gonna be that Roger was gonna be the twin or the brother.
Yeah. I mean,
I was thinking it might have been the cat guy.
Who?
The giant cat guy who eats things when you tell
the
him it's
raccoon.
okay. Oh yes, the raccoon.
Oh.
Yeah.
I was like, is this gonna be? Are they related?
That would have been funny. He just started eating them too. But,
Yeah.
But no, last I remember, I think the robots were dismembering animals, I think. So that's going to be real fun for this guy to see. Just walk right through. Don't mind this. Technically, they're not alive, so they don't count. The AI, I mean.
Yeah, they don't care about making a good impression, because they aren't affected by the beacon, so...
Yeah.
Sorry, I interrupted with my speculation on them just all being ghosts. I thought that was like when Ted was able to just get in, because I remember the rule was you had to have a ghost to help you get in.
Yeah,
right?
I was hoping it would translate that Randall being absorbed was one of the lies he had told.
Right, yeah.
And
so, I mean, I get because
Randall had helped them. Yeah, Randall couldn't enter, which is something
so he was still out there
explained.
helping people. Yeah,
he helped Ted get in, and
yeah,
he was whining about not being able to get him himself.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I like how this guy is in, all by himself for thousands of years, and the first person he meets, he just lies to.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But I am interested to find out why, because Roger is also just working, but you said that he got exiled, so I'm now wondering what's going on with Roger. Yeah. Maybe it's another Dimensions Roger, but
maybe
it's the same Roger. I don't know. You always leave us with so many mysteries.
Oh yeah,
and yet they always pay off. So I am super excited for that.
Yeah, I've been working on my next story too, because it's been a while since we recorded last, and I'm trying to pick up all the threads.
Yeah.
Because I am trying to wrap it up soon. I might need a couple more stories after this one.
It's all good.
Getting there. Yeah.
Because I'm still really enjoying it, all the intrigue.
I hope there's a happy ending, and we're not watching, but listening to a tragedy.
that's gonna be the biggest joke of all in the end.
These tragedies are funny.
Is that this is a huge tragedy?
Oh yeah,
because we all know they are not on the planet in the future, but
because they left him, because it's a good thing.
Because
and they're all somewhere. They're in a better place now.
Yep,
because
a more habitable place. Yep,
that's how the world works. Everyone's happy all the time.
I do figure we're gonna have to catch up with the kids back on the ship, because that was
my initial plan before we decided to do the next podcast. I'm not gonna bring them back.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that would have been like a very long story,
branching of the story.
Yeah,
it would have gone. It would have, once this part of the story was resolved, it would have gone to the kids in the ship. But that's another 20 episodes of the show, and we're in the process of wrapping it up. So
Peach? No. The guy who did the AI.
Oh, Plum.
Plum, that's it. Not Peach.
Plum.
Close.
Yeah. Basically, the antagonist of the whole story.
We'll see now.
In a way.
Yeah.
I never thought of him as an antagonist. It was the other scientist, his name I forget because it's been so fucking long.
Yeah.
No, you see, I saw like the creation of the AI, like giving them like sass. I saw that as oh no, this is never going to end well. And basically it's like he is responsible for the whole downfall of this entire planet, in a way. It's like the butterfly effect, except bad.
Happle.
Except not a happy ending.
Yeah. I was just thinking of it because you're like, everyone's happy. I was like, yeah, everyone's happy.
Everyone's happy except when you really want to murder somebody because you think they know your secrets. You'd have an aneurysm if you found out that Randall was still alive.
A ghost.
Yeah. He's not.
A living ghost.
Hey, are ghosts dead?
Yeah.
Not in their hearts.
That's how come they're a ghost.
Yeah.
They're dead. They just want to keep bothering people.
They're all telemarketers.
So they don't get absorbed into the power or whatever either. That was just a lie. Yeah. Oh jeez. Anyway, another great story filled with mystery and intrigue and stuff that's gonna pay off and fucking blow my mind later.
Yeah, not so many jokes this time, but I got a few good ones in, I think.
Definitely. Definitely.
Thank you for listening. Like, comment, subscribe, all that stupid shit. And we will be back in another week with a story from Todd.
Heck yeah.
Bye now.
See you then.
Bye.